to the latest Motoring Millennials podcast episode. I'm Zach Rothenberger with Anthony Lucci, and this week we have the president of the Mid-Atlantic .90 Association, Rob Keister. Rob, how are we doing today?
Great. How are you guys doing? Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I had you down as a potential guest for this year. I could show you that, and you reached out to me about joining, so we really appreciate it.
So it's always good to get your word out about your series and stuff. And I've been following you guys a lot since you started doing this, and appreciate everything you do for the drag racing community, and getting more people involved and learning about things. I mean, we all need the youth of the drag racing community to kind of step up and be a part of stuff to continue on what we're going to do for years to come. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, right? We all try to do that. So getting into the Mid-Atlantic .90 Association, can you give us some backstory as to what made you want to start it? How did that come about for you? What classes, your schedule, those type of things?
So the .90 series itself actually was not started by myself. It's actually been around almost 30 years now. It was originally started as far as we know, that people have kept records on, that 1993, a gentleman named Tony Gambardella started the super gas portion of it, and it was originally called the Northeast Super Gas Association. Tony used to run some .90 stuff. Now he's primarily bracket racing. His son is down in Florida now. I believe he was actually the Division II representative for the bracket finals out in Vegas last year. And then another gentleman named Dave Bishop, who recently passed away, was the president of the 890 called the Competition Photos Super Comp series. And they both kind of conjoined race the races together, mostly at ACO. Fast forward a little bit, we got in the mid 2000s or so. Dave kind of wanted to take a step back. It took a lot on him and stuff like that with his photo business and stuff. So he kind of took a step back, and unfortunately the series kind of just fell by the wayside and didn't really continue. But the Super Gas series thrived, kept on going to about 2006 or so. And then Pete Lucky Luciano, which I think some of you guys probably know from Maple Grove, especially his daughter Leanne, who raced juniors there. They took it over in 2007, I believe, and they renamed it to the Mid-Atlantic Super Gas Association. Fast forward a little more, there's a gentleman named Tom Boyle who decided to bring the Supercom circuit back up to where it needed to be. He ran it for about 2 seasons or so. I went ahead and took it over after that, ran Supercomp, and I was also racing at the same time. I was racing Super Gas and running the Supercom series, and it kind of took a toll on me a little bit. And about 2 years after starting the Supercom series, I felt pretty confident. A good friend of mine, Kelly Barbado, came up to me and says, "Hey, I really would like you to start a Super Street series." And I was kind of on the fence about it, like, do I really want to take on another series, another job? And decided to go ahead and do it, because really, I mean, I'm all about the racers and stuff. So giving them another avenue to race besides NHRA. So I started up Super Street Series the year after Pete Luciano stepped aside because he was going to run Comp Eliminator with Charlie Greco. And so I ended up taking over all 3 series themselves, and kind of have just grown it. I have a degree in marketing. And so luckily enough, using that marketing degree has helped me a bunch with, gaining sponsors, getting new people on board, using Facebook, using Instagram to really try to thrive out there and get more people on board. So for the primary, most of it, our racetracks that we run at are the local ones. So we run in ACO, Cecil, and Maple Grove. We have gone to other locations, New Media, Dragway. We did try MIR. Just the core base of our racers are primarily based in, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Southern New Jersey, and then we get some up in New York. So New Media, everybody knows. I mean, I'm sure both you guys have probably been in New Media. It's not the easiest tow to get to. Love the Domino family. I mean, they go above and beyond for the racers themselves, but it's just not, unfortunately, there's a reason why a lot of guys leave all their stuff up there all year long, because of the tow. So our car counts were kind of not really the greatest. So we did kind of, we flip flop like every once or 2 years. 1 or 2 years we'll go back and forth in the media. MIR was just not a very good venue for us. I mean, it just we only got, I think, like at the time it was just a super gas series. I think we got like 16 cars, so it wasn't the greatest. So we kind of stuck towards our core, of Cecil, Maple, and Acco, and just working with the owners and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and I know I used to race junior dragsters with three people, and I'm sure more, but I can't think off the top of my head. Kelly Kondratic, Chase Fonstock, Amanda Boychesko. They all like rave about this series. So it's definitely one, if you're running super gas, super comp, super street, or if you're just a fan and want to check out, they're definitely great events to get to.
yep. And then we've added a few new avenues this year. We've added junior dragsters. One of the big things I always heard from a lot of racers, R.90 racers, is that, hey, I have a trailer, I have a car, but I also have two junior dragsters sitting in there that are just, collecting dust. I would love to be able to have something like an avenue for my kid to race. And so we've added 8 out of the 12 races this year have junior dragsters, 2 weekends at Cecil, 2 weekends at Acco, and 4 at Maple Grove. Our races. And then we also added the Top Challenge series, which was a top sportsman and top dragster series that most of you guys probably know Donna Robinson. Crazy. I mean, Alan's the quiet one, and Donna's Donna's the boisterous one. But Donna came up to me last year at the Dutch Classic and asked me how we can try to increase more car count into this series. So we made some adjustments, brought it to the Maple Grove staff. They approved it. So it's mostly a top dragster, top sportsman type series. We renamed it to Quick Rails and Quick Doors, and we upped the ET brake for the dragsters from 610 to 790, and the door top sportsman 610 to 799. So far, we haven't even had our first race. Our first race is June 5th. And then, but we've already seen an increase in membership for the season so far. So it's $150 entry, $1,500 guaranteed to win, thanks to S&W Performance Group and Bob Hickey at Watson McDaniel Steam Elements, I believe that's what it is. So, but we just trying to expand it and try to give the best bang for the buck for racers. So.
You guys definitely have a lot of good stuff going on. So I guess, Rob, could you give our listeners who might not be familiar with index racing a little bit of insight into that, and just kind of break it down, what it if just a high level overview, if you don't know what index racing is at all, what does that mean?
Sure. So try not to bore you guys that much and try to put you to sleep. So for the most part, you have any kind of car, pretty much any car that runs super comp, super street, or super gas runs way faster than a lot of index, 890, 990, or 1090. There has been talk by NHRA to lower the indexes to try to make it a little more fan friendly, because a lot of times, to get more youth involved into the races, when you tell somebody we're going drag racing at Maple Grove on a Friday night, or we're going down to Acco on a Tuesday night, the first thing is, well, it's the first one to start, the first one to end, right? And everybody's, full bore. And then you watch Throttle Stop Racing, and people were like, why is the car fall on its face? And then 300 feet out, it goes back again. Is there a problem with the guy's car? Is there something going on with it? So to explain, Throttle Stop Racing pretty much in a quick nutshell is that, all the cars are pretty much, I would say 98% of the cars are faster than the index itself. You do have guys who, like a Dan Walling, Dan is the killer. Dan doesn't have a throttle stop. Dan foot brakes it, hits the tree great, and gets to a certain point where he knows at the racetrack, okay, 1,100 feet, 1,200 feet, I feel I'm on a 1086 run, boom, he drops it and, goes dead on to a 90. Not everybody's as talented as like a Dan Walling is. But for anybody who's in it. So you have a throttle style linkage that goes on the side of the carburetor. When you get to the racetrack, you set up all your weather instruments, and you basically watch the weather throughout the day. And there's different systems out there for you to look at. There's a family software, which is Bob Kodiak. You have Crew Chief Pro, which is Don Higgins. And pretty much what happens is, as you put more data into this computer system, it reads the weather, and it basically tells you what you should put in your throttle stop. So for the most part, 95% of the people use a starting line stop. So that's where you basically see the car, leave the line, falls on its face, and then 300 feet out, it takes back off again. So what it is you set, a number. So it could be 0.10 to start off, and then 3 seconds at the end. And then what that should hopefully do is set you on a 990 or 1090 or 890. There are different breeds, like myself, who uses a top end throttle stop. So I like to look at it as, say you're going to the mailbox and you're going to check your mail. Car goes by at 60 miles an hour. That's pretty much what like a top end throttle stop is, because you leave full bore at 600 feet out, the throttle stop comes on, and it stays on till 1100 feet, and then May goes back to full bore. So, if you're watching from the top end or watching over, this car, is out way farther than the other, and then it's coming on. So, within a millisecond or a couple seconds, you have to judge, do I take the stripe? Do I not take the stripe? Do I, let him take the stripe, hope that he's not on a 90? And it's kind of a guessing game sometimes. But, for the fan aspect of it, it's not fan friendly, unfortunately. I mean, it's because it's almost like comp eliminator. Comp eliminator is very hard to try to understand comp eliminator, because, they have indexes. Why does this person have an index? Well, that guy's going 70 under, this guy's going 60 under. Well, they both shut off because one guy red led. Why did they both shut off? So I always tell people, unfortunately, where we're at in today's age, throttle stop racing is great top end, and there's great tracks to watch throttle stop racing. Maple Grove, standing up there with the, at the 1,000-foot club, with them guys up there, and that's the greatest part, because you're sitting there and you can watch both drivers looking at each other, going down the, who's going to dump, who's going to hit the brakes, who's going to take the stripe. Or, like New Media is also a great racetrack. You can watch up on top of the hill. But on the starting line, where most of the stands are at, it's kind of, not a good aspect to try to teach people throttle stop racing. But I could say that if anybody ever wants to see a tutorial on there, Joe Costello of WFO Radio, and he also does the NHRA. He's an NHRA announcer. He does do some top end throttle stop stuff with, I believe, Austin Williams and a couple of other high end .90 guys who they kind of teach. They kind of teach the ins and outs of what throttle stop racing is. So, in a nutshell, hopefully I didn't put you both to sleep, but that's it's really tough, because like I said, when you're bringing youth into the sport, when you tell somebody, okay, it's from the starting line to the finish line, go as fast as you can go, and then a car just falls on its face, you don't understand that. So it's there's a science to the actual method of the madness that we do. It's just some people want to do that, some people don't. Some people grow up around it, like like Zach had mentioned, Chase Bonstock, Amanda Boychesko, Kelly Andrade, all second generation drivers. I'm a second generation driver myself. So we grew up around it. So it's almost second to none to just say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go .90 racing and not bracket racing. Whereas, if you're going to get involved, it's tough.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really interesting, because it's kind of, there's another element, or even like skill, really, that there's a lot more that goes into it, right, than just mashing the throttle down and playing the game out at the top end. I mean, you're still doing that, but there's more skill required. It's almost like playing guitar. Like, you first learn to play guitar and you know your chords, and then after a while you get bored, right? And you're like, okay, well, what's next? Like, what can I do more advanced? And that's kind of what throttle stop racing is. It's the kind of like the next level. And so
weather plays a big factor too. I mean, you could go Take, for example, I just, don't want to dwell on it too much, but last year in New Media, the Division One race we went in to Saturday with 2,600 density altitude on Saturday for our qualifying races. And we had the car set up great. We were going 91, 92. We thought we were right there. Sunday, there was a rainstorm that came in Saturday night. Basically, like I said, you guys have probably been in the media when it gets summertime and it's like 115 degrees out and there's no wind and it's like, oh my God, I feel like you're like in the depths of what. And I think the DA was 4,200 feet. And just, the computer program can't even adjust for that 1,700, density altitude increase that you could throw as much numbers as you want to at it. It's not going to make a difference. So even the best computer programs that are out there can't tell you, what you should have in the system. So, and I think we end up slowing up to like a 10-0, 10 flat or something like that for first round and loss. But, it's, you question the computer a lot of times. Like the computer says I should put this in there. There's just no way that's true. I can't, that can't be right. So,
Yeah, you kind of already answered this question a little bit, but so Rob, you grew up racing .90?
Not really. I grew up, well, my father, like I said, second generation driver. My father, Bob, drove for the most part growing up. And we went to all the national events. We went to Englishtown. Wasn't really, Maple Grove didn't have a national event until 85 or 86. I know Billy Kleinsmith will probably he'll rectify me on that date. But before that, it used to be the Super Stock Nationals, I believe, and it was a Division One race, but similar to what the Division One race is coming up the end of this month on Memorial Day. But they used to have all the pro cars. They used to have Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock used to be part of it. So it was similar to a national event, but it was just the Division One points race. I think it was called the Super Stock Nationals, named after Super Stock magazine. And so anyway, they grew up basically summer times, rather going to Walt Disney World, was going to Englishtown for the Summer Nationals, was going to Maple Grove for a Division One points race, the PA Dutch Classic. And then my parents unfortunately got divorced in '86. My dad actually had tore the car apart, just the whole litigation, lawyers, all that stuff. And he actually went bracket racing with a gentleman named John Agnetta, who was racing at the time, and they had a Firebird that was John Agnetta, him, and my dad, and then George Coley. They were partners all together, and they ran that for a few years, and then my dad decided to rebuild the car that we have now, and did a little bracket racing, did a little super comp racing, did a little super gas racing, but pretty much he just went towards running .90. I grew up pretty much running my S10 pickup truck and my 02 Camaro at the local tracks, running brackets and testing tunes and Friday night racing and stuff like that. And then when I turned 25, my dad came to me and says, "Hey, what's your thoughts on getting your license?" And I was like, I said, "I've only been in something that's 13 seconds, and now all of a sudden you want me to put me something that's 9." So, I did all this stuff and got my license, and I ran the Mazda series for a while and finished a couple top 10s and a couple final rounds. And then when I took over the series, it just became too much. So I took over running the NHRA Division One races, and my dad went to running the Mazda stuff while I was basically, handling all the duties of a race director, I guess you would say. So, but yeah, but I'm not one of those guys who sticks my nose up at bracket racers or anything like that. I mean, I'm equal opportunity. I mean, I like bracket racing just like I would .90 racing. I just, to be honest with you, I suck at a top bulb tree. I just, no matter what, I just can't hit a top bulb tree. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way I focus or the way I look at the tree or what, but I can hit a pro tree great. I cannot hit a top bulb tree to save my life. So I would be a sitting duck going to like a Spring Flings or an SFG race, because them guys with these, 5-packs, 6-packs, and you're still going home. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, hey, you always try foot braking.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, cool. So you hit on your schedule a little bit earlier, and I know there's a big race. Unfortunately, obviously, Dave Stine passed, and there's the memorial race again this year at Maple Grove. Can you tell us a little bit about that event, the purse, and kind of the cause and everything?
Sure. So everybody, who's grown up around Maple Grove knew Dave Stine. Of course, was married to Kara Stine, and Kara grew up at the racetrack just like myself. Along with Jeff Stricker and Kim, his wife, Jeff's wife, and everybody knows Jeff from Roadrunner Race Fuels, VP Racing Fuels, and Jeff is also my title race sponsor for my series, and great family. Bend over backwards for anybody taking the shirt off their back for just you don't meet people like Jeff and Kim and Kara in your travels, just what they do for everybody. And so unfortunately January 31st of last year, Dave Stine was killed in a ATV accident. We were upcoming on our first .90 race of the year, which was supposed to be at Maple Grove. Was a week before the Lucas race at Memorial Day weekend. And probably 4 weeks after Dave had passed away, I get a phone call from Jeff saying, hey, I got a crazy, weird idea. And if you know Jeff and me and Jeff, like, we get along so well, I think, because our minds are always working 24/7. We're always thinking of stuff like, I'll wake up at 2:30 in the morning and just think, how can I make this race better? How can I do this purse better? And start jotting down stuff. And Jeff goes, I really want to do the biggest super comp purse ever that's been ever handed out. And I said, okay. And he goes, I think I want to do $10,000 to win. And I was like, okay. I said, well, first of all, that's great. I mean, it's awesome that you can say that you want to hand out $10,000. I mean, trust me, if I walked into a bank and said I want $1 million, I mean, I'm not sure if they're going to give it to me. So he says, listen, I got it. I got the money. Whatever. He says, you just figure out how you got to do it and how you got to market it and how you got to get people on board. And I said, okay. He says, we're doing this. He says, yeah. He says, so I worked with a couple other sponsors to try to get the other classes up because, anybody who's a racer, you put $10,000 up for one class, everybody wants to migrate to that class. So then your other classes suffer because of that. So I was able to get Super Gas and Super Street up to $5,000 to win. And we had a great turnout. We had 232 cars, I believe, for the weekend, or at least for the Dave Stine race on a Saturday. We did a kind of a tribute to him. We had Dave's brother Dean and Kara, and then he was rebuilding I believe a Chevy truck. And they, anybody sees the pictures online, sees it that Kara and the truck actually both raced down the racetrack with all the family standing behind them as a tribute to Dave. We did a big barbecue. We had Lovely's, the 70s tribute band, come out Saturday night and rock out. So then this year is like, we got to do something better this year. It's first year was great. Second year, we got to make it bigger and better. So, Roadrunner Race Fuels, of course, Jeff Stricker, back on board again for this year. We also have a Auto Salvage, which is Tom Stava, Kara Stava, not Kara, geez, Karen Stava. They're on board as sponsors. Let's see, Wayne's Auto Body, CD Custom Design, which is Chris D. Pasquale, P&L Garage, the Southeast Supergas Association. I've become good friends with a gentleman named Chris Lewis, who runs a similar series to myself down in Carolina Dragway, Mooresville Dragway, Gainesville. And he came on board as a sponsor. And we're still looking for a couple more sponsors themselves, but we're going to give away on Saturday, September 10th, we're giving away $10,000 to win in Super Comp, Super Gas, and Super Street. There is no, everybody says, oh, well, there's a cap, right? You got to have 64 cars. You got to have 90 cars to make that. No, we're handing 10 grand out no matter what. Even though I have to refinance my house, I said, we're going to hand out $10,000 no matter what. So we're going to do a race on Friday, which is like a warm-up race. We're also going to have junior dragsters with us. Also, Eastern Raider Jet Dragster, which is Josh Graham. You may have raced juniors with him too. He drives the Eastern Raider Jet Dragster now. He's come on board as a sponsor for the junior dragsters. So for a $50 entry for juniors, $675 to win, 275 runner up. And then we're also going to have the top challenge series with us, which is, of course, the quick rails, quick door cars. And that'll be, 150 entry, 1,500 to win. But we're also looking for sponsors for that group too, just to try to up that a little bit for that weekend. But we're going to have a barbecue Saturday night. We got 2 bands coming. We got the Tom Frolic band coming Friday night, and we have Lovelace coming back again Saturday night to entertain the crowd. I mean, because that's one of the big things I do hear from a lot of racers is that not the fun, but like the after hours atmosphere isn't at the division races like they used to be. I know neither one of you guys really run the division stuff, but you may have come and hung out with friends and stuff like that. But 8:30 comes around, the lights are shut off, and there's a couple golf carts driving around trying to look to see where the party's at. And unfortunately, there's no party anywhere. So we're trying to bring at least that little bit of, fun, and, everybody goes out and tries to kick each other's teeth in for a race to win $10,000. But at the end of the day, we can all break bread together, all celebrate, Dave Stine's life, and rock out to some good, good music and have fun, because that's what it's really all about, is just having fun and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a family type of vibe with the series that you run, and it's a lot of really great things. I don't know anyone else who has bands coming in and be after, if you lose first round, that sucks, but guess what? You have a great night ahead of you. You have a lot of fun with friends and your racing family. So that's really cool here.
And even in our regular races, Saturday nights we do a family barbecue. We do a barbecue. We do theme nights. We do I think the Maple race, we're doing taco night. We do a meatball race in honor of my stepmom who passed away in 2017. This year at the ACO race on June 30th, we lost a really good sponsor, a really good friend, Bill Phillips of WT Pipeline Consultants over the winter time to unfortunately COVID. And we're doing a happy hour for him at the ACO bar from like 7 to 8 in honor of him. And the series itself is going to pay for everybody for like a round of drinks and celebrate his life, because he was a big part of the series, big part of racing, and he always had a good time when he was at the bar for because he wanted to have everybody have a good time. So that was the big thing. And the last race of the year, every Sunday of the last race of the year is a thank you. I cook everybody breakfast. So I make a pancake breakfast for everybody as a thank you to the support and the coming out. And I mean, we all know right now with the way the economy is and gas, I mean, diesel, every time I think you wake up, diesel's going up 30 or 40 cents, and it's just nuts. And so I know everybody's kind of counting their pennies. And one thing I want to really tell people is that we're not, my series is not here to compete with NHRA. I mean, I'm not here to try to, I know some people look at it as, I'm trying to, be the better series. And, I'm just giving an alternative to the racers who maybe don't want to spend 3 or 4 days at a racetrack, who just want to come one day and race for the same kind of purse, and have fun. And that's really what, we put into it is, myself, there's a awesome person who joined me last year. Her name's Dana Leone. She grew up on a racetrack, second generation racer with her father, Rich. She joined last year to come help out with stuff, because it just became overwhelming. I mean, there's only so much me and my father can do at the racetrack. He's still racing himself at 74 years old. He's my hero, but really when it comes down to it, I was actually talking to Shane Swigert the other day. I said, the person who's really my hero is Papa Rogie. And I think Papa Rogie's 84, 85 years old, I think he is, and still kicking butt and still lighting wind lights. I mean, he's just, he's I think he's everybody's hero. So
I think he finished top 5 in Super Pro at Maple last year. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of gave us some insight into the backstory of how everything works with your series. Can you run down your schedule so that way our listeners know where and when your events are so they can get to them?
Sure. So we kick off the season, the 2022 season, at Maple Grove, June 25th and 26th. The following, or then I think we take a couple weeks off, and then I have to check my scout. I should have had this in front of me, but I don't. July. Let me make sure I have the dates correct here. July 16th and 17th. We'll be at Cecil County Dragway. Jim Halsley and Chad Porter and Kathy Kraus, PDR champion 3-time, and just actually won the race at Bowling Green over the past weekend. Killer Pro Nitrous car. But Jim has this, twice, either once or twice a year, but really welcomes the crew in. July 30th and 31st will be at ACO Dragway for that race. That's race 5 and 6. Then we have what we like to call our granddaddy of them all, which is the Uncle Buck Pig Roast, which is August 20th and 21st back at Cecil County Dragway. Quick story on that: we had a gentleman named Ronnie Uncle Buck Harple, who was a crew chief for George Donhauser. Back in '93, when the Super Gas Series was going on, he decided just one day, he says, I want to do a pig roast. So he bought like a 100-pound pig, put it on there, and it just grew legs to the point now. He unfortunately passed in 2012 from pancreatic cancer, and it just grew legs, and just to the point where having all 3 series now. We bring in a distillery, comes in called White Tiger Distillery, comes in, and they sell their little liquor pouches and stuff. And then September 9th to 11th, which is the Dave Stine race. It is the non-points race for the series. So, everybody's welcome to come in and race and just have a good time and just, like I said, have fun. And then we close out the series October 8th and 9th at ACO Dragway. So we go to ACO twice, Cecil twice, Maple once for points, and Maple for a non-points race, but 6 total weekends. So
nice. That's awesome. Yeah, like you said, it's great option for people who maybe can't spend a whole weekend or all season at the track. You guys definitely put an awesome schedule together. We'll make sure to share that on our page and when the races are coming up to let all of our listeners know. I guess, Rob, any sponsors that you would like to give a shout out to?
Sure. So we have a couple major sponsors, of course. Jeff Stricker at Roadrunner Racing Fuels, as I've already mentioned a couple times. Jeff's head's probably buzzing right now from all the publicity he's getting. But Jeff and VP just do a huge amount for my series, and I can't thank them enough. Port 15, which is a Rust-Oleum company. Jason Aganakis is the president of the Port 15 company. Came on board a few years back and has increased his sponsorship with us each and every year, and can't thank him enough. New sponsor this year, title right sponsor for us, is Christine Romeo Real Estate, which is Dana Leon's sister. Christine is a realtor in New Jersey. Does some great job, and anybody's ever looking for a realtor to do anything in New Jersey, either sell, buy, if somebody was looking to buy, no one's looking for somebody's to sell, which I live in New Jersey. Most everybody's looking to get out of New Jersey. So if somebody who's looking to move down south, give Christine a call. She will sell, and she will sell at top dollar for you. So and then we have a couple of little sponsors, Hank Smith, Awesome Signs and Graphics, Comp Cams, Contingency Connection, Delhaven Service Center, which is the Don Hausers. I know I'm going to forget some people. Wise Guys Performance. The list goes on and on. There's so many people that help us out. Either it's a little mom and pop company who can just give a couple $100 to us to help us keep going, or it's a big corporation to help us going. And I do apologize if there are some people I do miss, but it is greatly appreciated. And I can't thank them enough, because that's what keeps the series going, is sponsors and racers. Because when you fall in hard times, you might have a car count that doesn't really exceed where you want it to be. Those sponsor dollars and that stuff helps you, make somebody's day when they say, man, I can't believe I'm getting, $150 for third round. And, it's like, well, this sponsor jumped in to help do that. But, we're always looking for new sponsors, always looking for more sponsors to increase it. And, you can go on Facebook and we always like to give shout outs to our sponsors to help increase their avenues and help increase their business, because there's companies out there that a lot of racers don't know about, or if, they're looking for home improvements, or they're looking for one of them is A1 mulch. You guys know Deb and Mike, from Maple Grove, it was. I mean, they come on with A1 towing and A1 mulch. So hey, I know we don't like doing mulch work. I know we don't like doing cutting our grass, but
we all got to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to go and do it unless we go to all dirt, in our in our yards. So
yeah, no, we, like you said, drag racing couldn't survive without all these great sponsors. So us racers and fans too need to give back to them and utilizes their services and their businesses. So awesome conversation, Rob. Before we wrap up, we want to do a quick fun rapid fire section. So you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. So first off, you were making me hungry earlier. You mentioned pancakes, pig roast, meatballs. Zach and I are both Italian. We love food. So you were making me really hungry, and I just ate dinner. But if you had one favorite food or one food you could eat for the rest of your life, what would that be?
All right. So I got two, if that's okay.
Sure.
One, you'll be happy because you're Italian, chicken Parmesan. I'll eat it any day, anytime, whatever it was. And the second would be fajitas.
Nice. That's a good answer.
Both great
I don't hear
options.
that often.
All right, so I know you're a big Detroit Lions fan. The draft just happened this past weekend. So what's your prediction this year? What's their record going to be this year?
I'm thrilled about Aiden Hutchinson coming on board. I was really hoping they were going to pick him to begin with. I think he's going to be a beast. Do I think they're Super Bowl caliber yet? No. I'm probably going to give a wrong answer as far as because now we added a game to the thing. So they went 3-13-1 last year. I think we'll see a 4 to 5 game improvement. So it'll be like 7-10 or 7-9 this year. And I think couple good draft picks next year and maybe some free agency moves. And I think they'll be playoff bound, I think, the year after. And I don't want to say Super Bowl, I live around too many Eagles fans. I got too many friends that are Eagles fans that, just love to hound me because I'm a Lions fan. So
it'll happen. I could see it, and it'll pay off.
I love the coach. I love the GM. I mean, it's what they needed for a really long time. They needed somebody to light a fire under the rear end at that thing. And I think Dan Campbell is the man that's going to do it. And I really can't wait for the Hard Knocks to come out by HBO that they're doing on Detroit, because I just would love to see the behind the scenes with just he's the guy you need to come be at your race car right before first round to come and get you fired up, because he's that guy to just get in, stick his head in the roll cage, just be like, let's go on.
Oh, he really is.
We all need someone like that. So one more question. Chevy, Ford, or Mopar? What's your pick?
Well, I am a diehard Chevy person. I can't, I drive a Jeep, so, I drive a Mopar. But I am a diehard Chevy person. I've always been a Chevy person, Chevy Camaros and stuff like that. But I will say that I love the new breed of cars that have come out. The Hellcat. I'm not a Mustang person, but they're okay looking. Camaros, I think, are pretty cool looking. They're even more cool looking as a race car. But I think you can make almost anything into a race car look cool. I always joke. I said the Cavalier was probably one of the most ugliest cars that were ever out on the street, but man, they look cool as a race car. The Olds Cutlass is another one. Like the Olds Cutlass itself was ugly as a street car, but man, it looks badass as a race car. If it really, if they do it right. And but I'm a Chevy person, but I love the breed of muscle cars that are coming out this day and age. So. Hopefully we can continue a little more before we get forced into everybody buying electric. So
fingers crossed. I used to drive a Chevy Cavalier, and I know what you're talking about, because I used to imagine that I was in a funny car or, a race car. So that would get me through, to my destination. but Rob, awesome. We appreciate you joining us on Motoring Millennials. Can you tell everyone listening where they can find you and where they can find the Mid-Atlantic.90 Association online?
Sure. Our website is midatlantic.90.org. John Oppenheimer does our website for One Sky Media. He's done an awesome job with our website. So it's www.midatlantic90.org. You can find me on Facebook under Rob Keister. You can find the series on Facebook, Mid-Atlantic.90. It's also on Instagram. We also have the Top Challenge series is on Instagram or on Facebook also, and the Dave Stine Memorial is as his own separate page. Not as great as I could say when it comes down to social media. I should hire some young person to come in and do social media for me. But Instagram and Facebook are about the two closest things that I can do. I can't do Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff. It's just too much for me. So between working on my jobs and trying to play president. So
yeah, you guys are doing an awesome job. So keep it up, and wishing you the best of luck this season. And for everyone listening, you can find Zach and I at Motoring Millennials on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and check out motoringmillennials.com. You can get yourself a cool t-shirt. It is racing season, so you need something nice for the track and when you're wrenching in the garage. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks again, Rob. And as always, keep on motoring.